What is going on, Star Wars fans? My name is John Solo, and welcome to my first ever book review. Today we're discussing Star Wars from a certain point of view. If you haven't read the book yet but are still planning on it, don't you worry, because this review is going to be 100% spoiler-free. For those who don't know what From a Certain Point of View is, think of it as a sort of anthology book. It takes on the challenge of taking the story of A New Hope, a story we have all become incredibly familiar with, and making it feel fresh and new by retelling the events of the movie from the perspective of 40 different background and side characters. It was written to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Episode 4, which is my favorite Star Wars movie thus far, so you can imagine how excited I was to get into it. And I'll say right off the bat, as a whole, this book did not disappoint. The diverse cast of characters and different writing styles of the authors made every story feel fresh and kept my interest levels high. Reading new interpretations of events I know like the back of my hand, whether it's the Empire boarding the Tantive 4 or Vader battling Obi-Wan on the Death Star, there's something so satisfying about taking that information in, processing it, and seeing those classic scenes that are decades old in ways I never have before. And what's also cool about these stories, and a little frustrating at the same time coming from someone who obviously loves fan theories, is the way they fill in plot holes and answer long-standing questions fans have had about the movie. It feels great having definite answers to questions like, did Boba Fett kill Owen and Beru? And why didn't that guy in the Star Destroyer shoot that escape pod he thought was empty just to be safe? In my opinion, some of this did feel kind of forced, no pun intended, almost like they had a checklist of plot holes they wanted to resolve and just went down the line. It felt a little too calculated and methodical for my taste, but that feeling might just stem from my being hyper aware of all of these little flaws, since that's the foundation of what we do on this channel. The average Star Wars fan might feel different. When it comes to the stories themselves, I found just about every single one to be entertaining in some way, whether it was the events of the stories being straight up exciting or the medium through which the story was told being interesting and unique. There's one chapter that's written as a character's autobiography, there's another written as an HR report. They pretty much covered everything on the spectrum, and this diversity is what makes the book so easy to read. With every single chapter, your brain is adjusting to a new perspective, whether it's a new background story for a character, a new problem they have to resolve, etc. So even though each of these chapters are part of an overarching story, each one has its own conflict and resolution, which leaves you feeling both satisfied but also wanting more. So you probably won't find yourself putting this book down very often, at least I didn't. I do have a lot of praise for this book, but I won't deny that it has its flaws. The different writing styles of the authors might not be everyone's cup of tea. I also feel like some characters weren't utilized as well as they should have been, and a few really huge opportunities were missed because of that. Those are criticisms that I'm going to explore a lot more in future videos just because I want to avoid spoilers, but I wanted to touch on them here too. Overall though, I really did love this book. I've said it countless times in the past, but one of my favorite things about Star Wars is how real the universe feels. Every ship has a name and classification, every planet has its own history, and there's characters with backstories that you would never expect had backstories. The galaxy isn't just huge, it has layers, and that's a strength that From a Certain Point of View plays to extremely well. The hardcore fans like myself will certainly appreciate the depth that is added by this book. That being said, if you consider yourself a casual fan, don't be too intimidated to pick this up. It'll contribute significantly to your understanding of events in A New Hope, but it's also just a fun read that'll make you laugh as much as it puts you on the edge of your seat. When it comes down to it, if you like a good story, you like Star Wars, and you're open to the new canon universe that Disney is establishing, I can say with confidence that you're going to like From a Certain Point of View. And that brings us to the end of today's video, so if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn notifications on for weekly Star Wars content, and let me know if you think I should make reviews like this a regular thing. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support. As always, my name is John Solo. May the Force be with you, and remember, John shot first.